We created our family through adoption, partly because, one, it was something that Rebecca and I had talked about on our first date. It sounds like a heavy subject to talk about on your first date, but little did we know that that would turn out to be how our family got created. After a few years of trying to have kids and being diagnosed with infertility, we just decided that that was the road we were going to go down to start our family. And 4 kids later, we now have 4 kiddos through adoption.
Well, our adoption journey actually probably began, I remember, on a walk that we had not long ago before we had any kids, and we were talking about just sort of the future of our family. And we didn't know when, but we always knew adoption was in our future. Didn't know what that would look like or at what point, but we always knew it would be there. We got pregnant with our first son not long after that, and had him grow up. But then we sort of went through a period where we knew we kind of wanted our family to grow. And again, we tried that biologically, being able to do that, but ran into some challenges, both with our health, and that sort of really kind of prevented, but also made it maybe not wise, I would say, for us to try to have another child biologically. So then we kind of came to a place where we're like, well, we knew adoption was in our future, so maybe now's the time.
The day we received the phone call was one of the best memories of my whole life. Mallory called me. I was sitting at my desk at work. This makes me all teary. And she just said, hey, actually, are you excited to talk? Do you have a minute to talk to me? Because I have really great news. Your son is here. And I didn't know what to do. I just started crying, probably from joy. It was like an instant, I don't know, it was joy I'd never felt before. And then Jonathan actually happened to be out of town filming with someone, and so I called him and I was like, well, surprised, we have a son and he's already born. So it was amazing.
Yeah, so like she said, I was out of town, so I didn't have the chance to be there for the initial phone call. But the phone call that I received from Michelle, again, it was sort of that same feeling. You could tell right away something special was about to happen, and I was about to hear about it. And so she shared with me the situation of our new son, and that he was already born just through a unique series of circumstances. He was already here, so he already was almost instantly our son that day. And so it was a lot of fun.
The day Joel was born, he was born in Tulsa, and we stayed here, and his mom wanted to spend time with him at the hospital before we came. So we got the phone call that he had been born, and we went up the next day and met with his mom. We had met her previously, and we spent some time with her. He actually spent a week in the NICU, so I stayed up there for a little bit so I could go back and forth to the hospital. His mom was also there the whole week, and so we got to spend a lot of time together at the hospital, which was great for our relationship, and just for Joel to have both of us to care for him in that first week of his life was pretty special.
Our situation was a little unique in that our son was already 7 weeks old when we met him for the first time. We met him at the adoption agency. We agreed to meet the birth mom and actually the birth dad, so we felt very lucky that he was there also and was able to be there. And so Jonathan and I came, and when I saw him, I wasn't sure, like, can I hold him? I'm just so glad to meet you. And so I was really nervous to be there at first when I walked in, but then what turned out to be the most friendly conversation I wasn't expecting. They were so excited to meet us. They were grateful to meet us. They were so quick to just, here you go, do you want to hold him? Do you want to meet him? And so everything, all my fears were kind of crushed because it was good. It was just good.
We have a really great relationship with both Joel and Sylvie's first moms. Specifically with Sylvie's mom, we talk to her pretty frequently. She lives close by, so we make arrangements to visit with her, and we I text with her frequently, talk to her on the phone periodically, we email, so all forms of communication. We really enjoy spending time with her and just having her be a part of Sylvie's life, and she's just become an extended part of our family. Really, it's been a great relationship with her.
We have an open adoption. We chose to do that, and at first I was personally a little leery of it because I didn't quite understand what it was. What does that mean? That's different than what I thought in my head originally, but Deaconess did a great job of helping prepare me for what that looks like, and it's actually been the biggest blessing, honestly. We love our birth mom, love her, and so anytime we get to talk to her or send pictures and she replies, it really makes my day. And I didn't know that I would have those feelings, but I just want her to be involved as much as she can be in our son's life, and so it means a lot to me if she still wants to reach out when she can. I know it's hard for her, and so it's not all the time, and that's okay, but we are really grateful for the open adoption, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Open adoption has been a really positive thing, I would say, for our family, and again, just a testament to Deaconess. They do a great job of educating you on the why, and then make a great effort to facilitate a really healthy way to enter into that open adoption relationship, and then they let you kind of lead in how you want that to play out. And so for us, we were uneducated about open adoption, but became big fans of it pretty soon after we learned about the benefits of it.
As far as having an open adoption, I feel like that's a pretty broad term, and really I think it is kind of whatever you make it. And I think the way that we look at it, one, that partly depends on how much the birth mom wants to be involved, and so for us, it's like any relationship. As long as it stays healthy and it continues to grow and is is beneficial, we expect for it to continue to grow and spend more time. And for us, we feel like it's a really important relationship to the degree that the birth mom wants to be involved. And it's a good thing that the kids grow up knowing who their birth mom is if they can. And if that bond is there, then we just want to continue to grow that. Because it's very important for the birth mom, if they want to be involved, to be connected, and for the kid as well, I believe.
I will also say we got some good advice from Deaconess staff to start the relationship out small and to let it grow naturally. So in the agreement we had where we stated that we would have meetings with the birth mom once or twice a year, but we've been able to do more than that because our relationship has grown naturally. So that was good advice for us.
Yeah.
I do know the first time I held our adoptive son, it was like everything, there was no difference. It was the exact same emotion I had the first time I held our biological son, and there is literally nothing different. My biological son is the exact same in my heart, in my mind, as my adoptive son, and it's not because I made the effort. There's just a switch that happens in my heart because all you can say is it's whenever you're called to it, God prepares you for it, gives you everything you need for it, and so it's the biggest blessing.
My biggest piece of advice probably for people considering adoption is just to be open-minded. I think in my mind for a lot of years when I was thinking about adoption, I've always loved it, I've always wanted to adopt. In my mind I have a thought of how it's going to be or how it's going to go, and it's just not going to be however you imagine it. It's probably not going to be exactly that. It's just not. So be okay with being flexible, letting God write your story. Don't try to control so much, and just be accepting of what's given to you. And I really think that's probably the best advice I give. Just be flexible. Be okay not knowing all the answers. We use Deaconess as our agency for adoption because honestly, we've heard so much positive about them. We have friends who've adopted through Deaconess. We've just heard about them in the community. Every interaction we had with them was 100%. A+. And so I can't say enough good things about them. I want you to use Deaconess. I'm telling you that it's my recommendation. It's amazing. I feel like they've been around for 100 years, I believe, or more, and they just know what they're doing, and I have a lot of faith and trust. I love the way that they lead parents and the way they lead and help adoptive parents too, and birth parents, and so I highly recommend them.
For anyone that's considering adoption, it can make you nervous, whether maybe you're the birth mom or whether you're the adoptive family. And I would consider what agency you go through and who you work with, and I would ask around and do quite a bit of vetting on that. And that's why we ended up choosing Deaconess, is we had numerous people tell us positive things about their experience. And I would also say, for anyone considering adoption, if you're a birth mom and you think it may be a scary process, partnering with someone like Deaconess, they're going to walk through that with you, through that process, not only through the front end of the adoption and be there during the birth, and then they're going to be there afterwards. I know both of our birth moms they've actually met each other at retreats, and I think that's just a great thing that Deaconess does. And also for any families considering adoption, Deaconess will walk through that process with you. And they'll be there to train you on the front end, and they'll be there with you during the process, and they'll be there to support you afterwards. And so I think that's been really valuable for us, just to have them, as a partner in this process. So whether you're the birth mom or the adoptive family, I think that's a really important thing to consider.